our final session. Well done for making it through, surviving. I've got one word for you. Just one word for you. And that word is vegetables. I want to apologize, but actually I think it's going to become legendary. I'll tell you, you think you missed that. Vegetables, I never knew we could have such fun with vegetables. Well, actually I did, no. Moving swiftly on, because we're tired, but we have some real food to share with you now. Our final speaker, our keynote speaker, is a former monk and long-term peace and environment activist. He's been quietly setting the global agenda for change for over 50 years. Based at Schumacher College and editor-in-chief of the very well-known Resurgence magazine, please welcome Satish Kumar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I missed the reference to vegetables. I don't know what it was, but I am a vegetarian. And recently I was speaking to children of Dartington School, age 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, that sort of age. And one of the child asked me, what is your favorite animal? And I said, elephant, an elephant. And the child asked me, why? And I said, elephants are eating only vegetables. And they get so large. So I don't have to worry that if I don't eat something other than vegetables, I will not mention what it is called, then I will be weak and small. So elephants can get big on vegetables. So whatever your reference was about vegetables, not knowingly, I'm comfortable with it.
Good. I think we should just leave it there.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say something about the soil, soul, and society. Our educational system is completely ignoring the soil, and even more completely ignoring the soul, the inner meaning, and a little bit concerned with society. But mostly our educational system is concerned about finance, money. And everything is almost geared to make sure that every university, every school, every college is financially viable. Now, there's one member here previously from LSE, Victoria. She invited me to speak at London School of Economics. And I was delighted. I was honored to be invited by such a prestigious, wonderful, great university in London. Many of our Indian economists and leaders and politicians have been trained in LSE, including our first Prime Minister of India, Mr. Nehru. And so it was great to go and speak. And it was a big audience, good audience there. I was very impressed. And then at that time, I asked the London School of Economics, where is your department for ecology? And actually, they don't have one. They do some sustainability studies, they do some environmental studies, part of something else, geography or something like that, but there's no such thing as Department of Ecology. So I said that the word ecology and economy come from 3 Greek words: ecos, logos, nomos. What is ecos? London School of Economics students don't know what is ecos. Sometimes you are pronouncing it oikos, sometimes ecos. So what is ecos or oikos? Ecos is home. In the wisdom of the Greek philosophers, home is more than where you sleep, where you have your kitchen, your garden. Ecos is your whole planet home. The entire earth is our home. What a wonderful word it is. What a great word it is. We have a home, and that is our planet home. Ecos, beautiful word. And what is a home? Home is a place of relationships. When you go home after this wonderful conference, you will go to a place where you have your parents, your children, your husbands, your wives, your friends, your colleagues, your guests. And even the dining table, you have a relationship in it. Even in the sitting room, when I go to some English homes and go in their sitting room, and they ask me to please sit down, I say, which is your chair? I don't want to sit in your comfortable chair where you sit always. So there's a relationship with everything, your garden, your chairs, your tools, everything. It's a place of relationships. So this planet home, we have relationships with all species upon this planet home, in this planet home. The birds flying in the sky, they are our brothers and sisters. The deer in the forest, the fish in this lake, they are our brothers and sisters, our kith and kin. That is home. That is ecos. Now, in that relationship, there is a harmony. We are all related. Harmonious relationship. The sun shines with photosynthesis relationship with every leaf and gives energy and life to all living beings, humans and other than humans. The rain comes and feeds and nurtures and nourishes every living being without any discrimination. Not just for humans. The rain is not just for humans. For all living beings, the soil is nourished. And the soil nourishes all living creatures. What a harmonious earth we have. This is the eastern view of the earth. My view, or eastern view, you can call it Indian view, is not nature red in tooth and claw, which is completely wrong Western science that you have been taught in these big, famous, prestigious universities like LSE and the University of York and Oxford and Cambridge and Bristol and Bath and Edinburgh and Glasgow, everywhere. This completely misguided knowledge that we have been given, nature there, hate it. It's a red in tooth and claw. We have given this idea. So I say nature is completely harmonious, wonderful. Good and bad is our human construct. Nature just is. It's neither good nor bad. Everything in nature has a place, in its place, in the right place. Everything has a wonderful role to play. And so, that is our home, planet home, and harmonious. The knowledge of home, logos, is ecology. Knowledge of home is science. We need science, but we need ecological science. We need holistic science, not this compartmentalized science where physics does not know anything about biology, and biologists don't know anything about chemists, and chemistry doesn't know anything about anthropology, and anthropology doesn't know anything about psychology, and psychology doesn't know anything about economy. So all different compartments, disconnected and not interrelated, interdependent. This transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary knowledge, that is ecology. I think ecology is underpinning science of all sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, anthropology, all sciences. And so knowledge is ecology. Knowledge of the planet home. How all species are interrelated, interconnected, feeding each other, supporting each other, maintaining the life, and sustaining the life. That's ecology, logos. And then we come to nomos. Nomos means management. And so we need to know how we manage our relationships. Even in your home, you have to know how you manage your relationship with your children, especially when they are growing, they become teenagers. You have to manage. You have to manage even relationship with your wife and husband. How you answer to your wife. If you don't know how to answer, you will have a divorce. You have to manage your relationship wisely. That's economy. And so I asked my students, or my audience at LSE, there were some students, there were some lecturers, some people from outside. He said, please tell me, you are such intelligent, learned, educated people here. You are teaching economy, management of the planet home, without teaching ecology, knowledge of the planet home. How are you going to manage something which you don't know? Isn't that a... How are you going to manage something which you don't know? If you don't teach ecology and you just teach economy, that's a half-baked bread. Your education is a half-baked bread. And half-baked bread is worse than no bread. Because no bread, at least you can make it. But half-baked bread will give you indigestion. So our educational system in universities, not just LSE, not just the University of York or Bristol or Bath, every university in the world, Harvard, Yale, University of New Delhi, or Tokyo, or Kyoto. I have been there in Japan just recently. I was speaking there, University of Tokyo and Kyoto. Everywhere, they are missing the ecological, environmental, natural underpinning to education. So I'm so amazingly, I'm delighted and wonderful that you have this wonderful organization to promote this ecological, environmental, sustainability agenda throughout universities, in every college and university. It's a wonderful organization. I congratulate you for this creating such a wonderful organization. Well done, thank you. But LSE, I want to quarrel. And I want to ask LSE, and I did ask LSE, please change your name. Then I'll be happy. Call it LSEE, London School of Ecology and Economics. That is the agenda of the soil. We all come from the soil. We return to the soil. Everything is soil, earth, soil, land. The true economy, classic economy, which LSE has forgotten to teach, puts land at the top. Land, labor, capital. How many are you here? Anybody economist? Nobody. You are an economist. You are from LSE. In traditional classical economics, you have land, labor, capital. Land at the top. Land is soil. Land is earth. Land is nature. Forests are land. Food is land. And land was sacred in true economic system of Greek philosophers. Sacred land. Revere the land. James Lovelock, the creator of Gaia hypothesis, in his book, he says, I revere Gaia. Reverence for the earth. Sacred land. We have forgotten. We have become so reductionist. We just measure everything everything qualitative. And we have forgotten everything quantitative, and we have forgotten qualitative. Quality is sacred quality of the land. And a quantity is, you say, how many acres, how many hectares, how much it produces. All those are quantifiable empirical knowledge. It's wonderful. We need it. We need logos. But we also need meaning, our relationship. We have brain, thinking, intellect, mind, of course. It's wonderful that we have brain and we have thinking faculty. We also have a heart, feeling. Our universities and our education system completely ignores the existence of heart and feeling. How can you have education, just brain, 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 and nothing else? We need more than brain. We need feeling. We need relationship. We need reverence for the earth. And that is the soil. And the soul comes when you bring heart into it. And so if we take care of the soil and revere the soil, and I'm glad in the last paper, which was only produced 2 or 3 days ago, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, the government's planning guides have slightly changed and brought some sustainability and some respect and intrinsic quality. Can you imagine the government using the word intrinsic quality of the rural landscape? I was delighted that they've made some change after long protest. After long, the National Trust, the Fiona Reynolds team, and also Campaign for the Protection of Rural England, CPRE, many other organizations campaigned for this thing. The greenest government ever, the Tory government, the greenest government ever. Vote blue, get green. That was the slogan. The moment they came to power, what they suggest, we are going to privatize the forests. That was their greenest government ever. After big protests, they withdrew that, thank goodness. Then they said, we are going to make development, the rural areas and development, building, houses, economy, as the priority. It was a big protest on that planning paper. Big protest from the National Trust, CPRE, Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, all the environmental organizations, including my magazine Resurgence and Schumacher College. And so we are happy that at least at this moment, government had put something in that planning guideline. But economy is a very beautiful word. We have forgotten what is economy. We have forgotten land. We have forgotten labor, people. And we are only thinking about financial capital. Our Chancellor of Exchequer knows very little about land. He knows very little about, in his budget, there's nothing about land. There's nothing about people as such. Taxation is not about people. So labor is forgotten, land is forgotten, and land and labor has become the instrument of making capital. Capital has become the ruling, guiding principle. So you and I, in this conference, we have a big challenge to restore the proper wisdom and proper meaning and proper place of economy in our world, in our society, in our country. We are all in favor of economy, but not just financial economy, not just capital economy, but economy which puts land, which means nature, natural capital. That's our true capital. And true bank. If you invest something into the soil, and if you invest something in HSBC or Lloyd's, see the difference. If you invest something in HSBC or Lloyd's or Barclays, you get 0.5% interest. But if you invest into the soil, you have apple seed, that's your capital, apple seed. Just tiny, tiny seed, like a jewel. You put into the soil. deposited your money? Okay. Put a little bit of water, a little bit of sunshine is already coming, rain is already coming, a bit of compost, a little bit of fencing, a little effort, your capital management, and suddenly that becomes a tree. And not 0.5% interest you get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of apples for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Would you not call that a beautiful bank? Bank of nature, the earth bank? Where will you want to invest your money? In Lloyds? In Barclays? In HSBC? In RSBC? What is RSBC? Royal Bank of Scotland? RSBS? Where will you invest? Or into the soil? And not only you get thousands of apples for 20 years or however long that apple tree lasts, but every apple has more capital in it. 2, 3, 4 more seeds. You imagine, we have forgotten that the true refuge for humanity, our true economy, is in the land, in the soil. I would like to see every university, every college, and Schumacher College I started for that purpose, every school, I started a small school in Heartland for children, have land, which used to be, Cambridge and Oxford have land, but students don't touch the land, they don't touch the earth. The professors don't touch the earth, they are just in front of books, and nowadays not even books, but computers, screen, eyes get tired, and if you come from your garden and your hands have a little bit of dirt in your nails, professor will look at it and say, oh, your hands are dirty. Mr. Professor, dirt is not dirty. Dirt is the source of our food. Every university should have a garden, a farm, where students and professors and administrators and sustainability officials like yourself here, many of you, at least 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, go out in the field, in the garden, and experience nature. Sit under the trees and experience nature. Knowledge is good, but not enough. Knowledge must be accompanied with experience. That is sustainability. That is ecology. Experience of nature. And when knowledge and experience is united, wisdom is born. That's our Indian philosophy. Wisdom comes with knowledge and experience marrying together. Like a child is born when a beautiful young lady with a wonderful, handsome young man marry together, love each other, feel each other, embrace each other, kiss each other, make love, a beautiful baby is born. That's experience of love. It's not just knowing, I know this nice, beautiful young lady, I know her address, I know how much she has earned. Knowledge is not enough. You have to experience him and her in order to have a baby. Where is that experience in our educational system? We are just brain, 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 and very little experience. So in your work, when you go back to your universities, take this simple message from this Indian Eastern man coming to tell you that we must experience nature. Nature is not just an intellectual idea. It's a living existence. It's a living organism. Earth is a living organism. Earth and nature are intelligent. They are conscious. They have a soul. That's our Indian philosophy says. They have a soul. Not only that, God is in nature. I made a film for the BBC called Earth Pilgrim, and I said in that film, which 4.6 million people watched it, I said, my religion is nature. Nature is my religion. Nature is my God. God is not somewhere behind the clouds sitting. He created the world in 6 days, and 7th day he went to sleep and still sleeping. God is here in nature, in us, everywhere. And creation is not a historical event. It's a continuous process. And we are all participating in the sacred creation of the earth, of the universe. It's always expanding because we are creating it. So science and wisdom, science and intuition come together. That's my philosophy. The science and intuition, intellect and intuition must come together. And that way, if we are able to live, Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Everybody's asking, how are we going to make our country, our society sustainable? How are we going to change businesses? How are we going to influence government policy? The only way to influence them is to be the change you want to see in the world. Are you that change? Are you a living example of sustainability? If you are not, then sustainability is just a job. If it's just a job, forget it. It's like any other job. It's not going to change the world. You will get your check in the end of the month. You will get your payment, but you are not going to influence the world unless you be the change you want to see in the world. And being the change means touching the earth, feeling the soil. That's a soul. When you feel the soil, you revere the soil, and then you create society where everybody is looked after, where there's social justice and development in a sustainable, in a resilient way, like Transition Town movement is working in that field. Resilient way, so that this global economy, which is so fragile, if our oil stops coming from Saudi Arabia, we have to go to war to get our oil. What kind of is this? Whereas the sun is shining every day. Billions and trillions of tons of energy is being given to us every day free of charge. And we say, no, 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 suns, you are no good. We are going to build a house which has no light for the room for the sun. We're all electric. No window, no doors, no sunlight, just electric. For this electric, we need nuclear power. Where does nuclear power comes? Uranium. You have to go to Australia, Canada, Indian land, Africa, uranium. Then electricity comes from where? Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya. We have to go to war for it. What's wrong with the sun? Every single roof in Britain must have solar panels. That's our challenge. Every single roof should be micro-energy producing power station, powerhouse. That's our real nuclear power station. I was in Tokyo, and they said, we have Fukushima, and something like 100,000 people are evacuated. They cannot go home. I said, what is on the national flag of Japan? The sun. You know the national flag of Japan? The sun, not a nuclear power station. Why are you forgetting the sun and building your universities like this University of York, Kyoto University, Tokyo University? All universities are built like this. This is the modern, advanced, scientific, technological progress. Keep out the sun. Keep out the rain. Keep out real air. Real air. Just have artificial air conditioning. This is what we call civilization. Once Mahatma Gandhi was asked by the journalist of the Times when he came here in 1936 or something. He said, Mr. Gandhi, what do you think of Western civilization? Gandhi said, I think it would be a good idea. It would be a good idea. Why not have sun? That would be a civilization. Every roof producing energy. Every drop of rain comes to us. Clouds bring it all over the world without any use of fossil fuel. Your cars, you need petrol to move even 1 mile. Your train needs fossil fuel. Your aeroplane needs fossil fuel. Only your legs don't need fossil fuel. And the clouds don't need fossil fuel. Every home, every field, every garden, free of charge, water is delivered to your doorstep. But we are very educated. We are advanced. We have a great technology. We don't want this free water coming to our home. We want piped water. We'll pay a bill for it. We'll pay check, Visa card. We will pay for it. But we want piped water. 16 times recycled dirty water in London. 16 times recycled. We want that. Rainwater, no. Every roof should be a rain harvesting station. How about that for our challenge? Sustainability officers in universities. Every roof should be a water harvesting station in Britain. If we Arabian oil, we will not need nuclear power. We will not need Iraqi oil. You keep it under the ground. We don't want global warming. We don't want climate change using your dirty fossil fuel. Dirt is not dirty. Your fossil fuel is dirty. How about that? I'm passionate. I'm passionate for sustainability. I'm passionate for ecology. I'm passionate for nature because I love nature. That's my religion. That's my God, as I said. I love nature. I'm not afraid of global warming or climate change. My environmentalism, my sustainability agenda is not driven by fear of doom and gloom and disaster and end of civilization. I'm not driven by fear. I'm driven by love of nature. Fear-oriented movement will not last very long. All the great movements of the world, the Buddha started his movement, the Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Aung San Suu Kyi, Mother Teresa, they all started their great movement with a love of humanity, love of nature. And that is our driving force. That's the inner landscape, inner sustainability. Not just outer sustainability, but our inner sustainability. That's a soul sustainability. So if we have a love for nature, global warming or no global warming, we will want sunshine in this room. And we don't want this artificial electric light. We will want fresh air in this room. We don't want this artificial air conditioning. We want real, beautifully handmade chairs in this room, and not all this plastic business made in factories. We will want real food from our gardens, not this packaged Tesco stuff. That's a quality of life, beautiful life. We can live a wonderful, high living standard, good quality of life, use your technology to add to your nature, to enhance nature. I'm not against technology. I'm using microphone. I'm not against technology. Use your computer, use your mobile, use your emails. I'm not against it. But do not forget the real nature. All technology aiding to nature and helping nature to grow, that's a wonderful. But if it replaces nature and keeps sun out, rain out, wind out, air out, and just fossil fuel life, this is not progress. This is not civilization. We have to be blunt, and we have to be passionate, and we have to say the truth as it is. Because if we live by fossil fuel, it will not last forever. It's a limited. It's not infinite or unlimited resource. But sunshine is unlimited and infinite resource. The water will always come from the sea. And they have a tremendous system. Water evaporates from the sea as a steam, light. And what a wonderful, without any fossil fuel use, they desalinated the water. The clouds desalinate the water. The salty sea water becomes sweet. Isn't that wonderful? Technology of nature. We think nature knows nothing. Nature is inanimate. Nature is dead. Nature is just nothing. We humans are so special. We are superior to nature. We have intelligence. We have civilization. We have a culture. Nature knows nothing. Nature can desalinate seawater and takes into the cloud without any fossil fuel, without any waste, without any global warming, without any climate change. What a wonderful technology, clouds. And then they bring it everywhere and bring it to our doorstep. So we have to go back to nature and keep our science and our civilization and our technology in harmony with nature. Then soil, soul, and society. This is a new trinity for the age of ecology, new trinity for the age of sustainability. Because the old trinity of equality, liberty, fraternity, very human-centered, only for human equality, human liberty, and human brotherhood, fraternity. And also things like mind, body, spirit, human mind, human body, human spirit, very anthropocentric. We have to expand our consciousness. Expanding our consciousness and say, Earth is our home, and we are cosmic beings. Steve Hawking wrote his book, The Brief History of Time. And he, the end of that book, how and when will we know the mind of God? I have a formula for him to know the mind of God. Expand your consciousness and say you are only a microcosm of macrocosm. You are touching the universe, and that is the mind of God. You are not just Yorkshireman or Englishman or European person or woman or human being. We are members of the earth community. We are cosmic beings. That is our great expanded consciousness. Then we touch the mind of God. God is not a person whose mind you touch or you know. God is the principle of existence, the reality as it is. What is reality? Reality is not a thing in itself. Reality is just relationship among things. This table, this hand touching each other, that's a reality. The table is made by sun, the rain, the soil. That's relationship. That's a reality. We are amalgam of relationships. That's a reality. Reality is not a thing in itself. Reality is a relationship among things. If we can realize that, our sustainability, our ecology, our environment, our resilience, our transition town, everything will fall in place. Thank you very much. Some questions? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any questions?
Questions are very important, so please do ask. And do disagree, because ask me some hard questions, because I have been hard challenging science and challenging Western civilization, and you have been most kind to give me such applause after all those challenging words that I have said. So please do challenge me back and say if you disagree. But even if any question you have, ask. Yes, please.
Satish, I love your advice about telling people to touch the soil, and that's something I'm going to take back to our university. But I wonder what you do when you meet people who are scared of touching the soil. It's not that they don't want to do it, they're scared of what it might bring to them.
They're scared of the soil. Being scared of the soil, of nature generally, being afraid of being in the forest, being afraid of meeting an animal, and say, what this animal is going to do to me. This fear comes because from the childhood, we have been kept indoors and away. Mother will say, oh, your nails are dirty, you've got earth in it. Don't play with the earth. Don't climb the tree, you might fall down. So fear starts very early. We get scared of the earth, and we get scared of nature. We are scared of going in the sea. We are scared of going in the water. It's cold, it's snow. We don't want to go out, snow. So the only way to remove that fear is to go out and experience nature. Take your child. When you have child, I don't know if you have child. Do you know, I have 2 children, and I said to children, go and play in the earth. Go and climb the tree. If you fall down, you will be all right. Fall down, you will be strong. Do not be afraid of difficulties. Do not be afraid of dangers. Have courage. Nature has to be courageous. And nature is courageous. So we also have to be courageous. We are nature. Humans are nature too. Nature is not just out there, the trees and the lake, beautiful lake in this University of York. But we are nature. Nature means being born, natal, nativity, come from the same root as nature. Natal, when mother is pregnant, she goes for a prenatal check, postnatal check, birth. So we are born. Everything what is born is nature. And so if we are nature, why should we be afraid of nature? We should go and embrace nature, embrace the earth, embrace even animals. I mean, you have to be careful, but embrace animals. Do not be afraid of animals, because they are our brothers and sisters. How can we be afraid of brothers and sisters? So I would say start from early childhood. Children, schools. In my small school, I say 4 days in the school, but 5th day, once a week, 1 day a week, you all go out in nature. No pencil, no pen, no paper, no cameras, nothing. Just go and experience and be in nature. At Schumacher College, we say 1 day a week, all students go out on Dartmoor and experience nature. So if you experience nature, be in nature, you will see nature is benign. It's nature which gives us food. It's nature which gives us water. It's nature which gives us air to breathe. If no nature, we cannot exist. So why to be scared of nature? We have to teach that from childhood and even in your university. Every week, students should be taken out in nature. Every week. And all businesses should close on Friday. Go out in nature. Experience nature. That's my recipe.
Popular one, that last one.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a project where I'm trying to link older people with the young students on skills like gardening that the younger generation have lost. But what I'm finding is the older people are saying to me that in this country, if you get to a certain age and you lose your voice, you lose your influence, yet you know so much. Have you got any advice for how that section of the community can have a stronger voice?
Older generation. Yes, yes, very good question. I think we need generation. I'm 75 years young. And you can see, I don't have any lack of energy. I can tell stories to young children. I can play with children. And I have more time because I'm now not working like people used to work. When one is young, one has 9 to 5. I'm more free to come to give talk here. Why not use the energy of the older people and time and wisdom and experience they have, the stories they can tell to our younger generation? Why not use it? Why waste it? And just say, you are now old, retired. Go and do some gardening for yourself, but don't meet anybody. So I think we need to change the culture. That is our challenge. We need to change the culture, say, the intergenerational, cooperation or activity is essential for the well-being of our society. Well-being of older people, because if they are bored sitting in an old age home or in some sort of nursing home, and children are looked after not by their parents quite often because parents are working, what happens to children? They are not properly looked after. So if we have grandparents, grandmother, grandfather, older generation, telling stories, taking children out in the garden, old people are entertained and kept healthy. They don't have to go into hospitals. NHS should be turned into nature, not National Health Service, but Nature Health Service. Nature Health Service. Then younger generation, older generation, both can have time out in the garden, out in the park, by the river, in the hills, in the forest, among the trees, among the wood. Both will enjoy. So I would say we need a change of culture. And that begins with us. The leadership is not going to come out of 10 Downing Street. You are the potential leaders of any field. You are the potential. Every one of us has a potential to be a Gandhi, to be an Aung San Suu Kyi, to be a Nelson Mandela, to be a Martin Luther King, to be a Mother Teresa, whoever your ideal is. You don't have to be famous like them, but still you can be a leader in your own field. And so this intergenerational relationship, to enhance that, we need leadership from you, not only for sustainability, but even for cultural change. That is the beginning. That is the answer. Yes.
I'm Sophia from Aston University. Thank you very much for this delightful speech. It's going to keep me going for some time. I just met you, but I will confide my greatest fear to you. My greatest fear is that I might lose hope. I was wondering if you have any tricks to give me as advice. How do you maintain your hope? How do you keep fighting?
How I maintain my hope? Very good question. President Obama wrote a book called Audacity of Hope, but he lost that audacity and became a bit timid once he became president in the White House under so many pressures. So in order to maintain hope, you need to cultivate courage. Because timidity comes when you say, oh, it can't be done. Too late. Time is running out. It's already too late. We can't do anything. Establishment is too established, too trenched. We can't do. So that kind of lack of courage gives you no hope. But if you have courage in your heart to say, yes, I can do it. I can make a difference. That gives you optimism. So I would advise you to cultivate courage in your heart. Courage is the source of optimism and hope. And once you have a courage, then you also have trust. At the moment, we also don't trust. We have lost trust in our society. We have lost trust in our future. We have lost trust in ourselves. This is why soul qualities are very important. Courage and trust are soul qualities. So you have to cultivate trust. As St. Julian of Norwich said, all shall be well, all manner of things shall be well, if you and I participate in making that well, that wellness, that well-being. Economic growth by itself is not enough if it does not lead to well-being of humanity, well-being of our countrymen and women. And so if you have that trust, and with trust and courage, if you act, then things will change. That's my hope. Things will change. If you don't act, things won't change. If you don't do anything about it, things won't change. But if you act, and to act, you need courage and trust. That gives me hope. And young people gave me hope. When I went to this Dartington primary school, children asking me nice, lovely questions. That gives me hope. I think young people are now becoming more interested. They say, all this wonder, fine, this economic growth, shopping and all that. But then what? Lots of young people are asking that question. So students give me hope. So the inner qualities give me hope, but also the external situation give me hope. And so many people in universities like you working to bring about a change, to buy right things, to get the right kind of food, to get more energy efficiency. All those things you are doing. How many years ago you started this organization? 16 years ago. 16 years ago you started this, but before that there was a very little conversation in our society, in our universities and colleges about sustainability. So this gives me hope that there are organizations like this one who are coming up. And the National Trust, Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace, WWF, these wonderful organizations have millions of members. They are all interested in something different. So there's a kind of shift in our consciousness in our country and in Europe. There's a much more solar energy now and much more wind energy now than 16 years ago or 20 years ago. When I was editing Resurgence magazine in the 70s, and we wrote articles about wind power and solar energy, people said, oh, you are hippie. You are sort of hippies. And now, government is supporting windmills. So change is coming. Change is happening. And we have to be part of that change, part of that solution. And you are, and we have to make it more.
Question up here.
Hi, Satish, thank you for a lot of what you're saying and challenging us to do is extremely kind of difficult. I think a lot of you've made some very powerful statements in your presentation. And I think a lot of that is about breaking connections with things at the moment that you've talked about that is wrong with our society in the way that we do things. And breaking those connections and looking to make new ones can potentially be very sort of shaking and challenging to our resilience, both on a personal level and as a community. So what comments would you have for ensuring that we can support the resilience of our community, support each other, and also to be able to change and build on our resilience on an individual level to be able to respond to the challenges that we're facing?
Could you capture that essence?
How can we maintain resilience? Because the changes that you suggest are actually quite traumatically different to the reality today.
Yes, yes.
Is that
yeah. And the reality and the realists, people say that, Satish, you are very idealistic. And I ask them, tell me what the realists have achieved. Is being at war with other nations like Iraq or Afghanistan realistic? Is creating global warming realistic? Result of realism? Is millions of young children in Africa, India, and even in Europe malnutrition? That's realistic? Social injustice? So realism and idealism have to come together. And the great leaders and the great movements always bring ideal and make it practical. Then Nelson Mandela, he was an idealist. End of apartheid. Gorbachev, he said, let's have openness. This communist regime, too closed. He was considered idealistic, but he made it practical. Berlin Wall came down. Martin Luther King was an idealistic. He stood for the racial harmony and equality. At that time, I met Martin Luther King in my journey. Black people had no vote. You could ask that question, how are you going to bring this racial harmony into this world of America where black people even cannot vote legally? But he brought his idealism into practical reality. And 40, 50 years later, today, we have a black man in the White House. Not only that they can vote, but they can even elect a black man to be the president of the United States of America. So, the challenge for us to bring ideal into practical. People said to Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, how by spinning a spinning wheel, you are going to bring an end to British Empire, under which sun never sets. That was 1940. And now, where is British Empire? So that idealism became practical. So our ideal of a sustainable, resilient, socially just, environmentally sustainable future, this is ideal like Gandhi had ideal of independence. So the ideal Martin Luther King had for racial harmony. Ideal of Nelson Mandela to end apartheid. Ideal of Gorbachev to bring an end to communist empire. Berlin Wall. These were ideals. We are in the same way in a great movement, a great turning, a great transition. And we have to make this ideal of sustainable living into a practical reality. There is no contradiction between idealism and realism. And realists had lots of chance. What is government doing? They are so-called realists. I think now there's a chance for the idealists to make some influence, make some impact. And so our movement is an important movement, and what I'm speaking to you is the future. The future is with sustainability, with resilience, with transition, with spiritual values, with human values, with equality. And with it, we will have economy. I'm not against it. Technology, I'm not against it. But only economy, only money, only finance, only kind of materialism and shopping and consumerism, that's not right. We have to challenge it. We are suffering. Our humanity is suffering. There's no equality. 40% of food in Britain is thrown away while people are starving. Even in England, people are without food. There are homeless people, jobless people, unemployed people. They have no future. So we have to challenge this kind of system with nonviolence, with love, with compassion. Challenge. And I think this idealism can be made real. This is my hope.
Please join me in thanking Satish Kumar.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you are, thank you. If you are interested in these ideas, which I have said to you in 1 hour, but on an every 2-month basis, I produce a magazine called Resurgence. Some of you know. So if you are interested, please look at our website. There will be some website somewhere there, and www.resurgence.org. And if you are able to bring Resurgence into your universities, suggest to your departments, libraries, that they should have Resurgence in their libraries. And if you can personally subscribe, please subscribe. The other place I work is Schumacher College. Look at Schumacher College, and if you have moment and time in a week or so, or a few days, come and visit us in Schumacher College. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this wonderful opportunity and such a wonderful response and listening to me. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Very, very quickly then, I am going to announce the winners of the poster competitions. I have to say we excelled ourselves this year. With prizes, not only do they get organic chocolates, but they actually get an Olympic chocolate medal. And the winner of the best sustainability poster is, for you count, the University of Worcester. Matt Smith and Katie Boom. Give them applause. Come up to the winner's podium. You taking both, are you?
Oh, well, no. We can
Is he here? Oh, there he is. Great. There you go.
Result. Whoa.
Thank you. Choo. There you go. Big hand. Thanks. And for the Green Academy posters, it is Peter Rands and Stephen Scoffman at Canterbury Christ Church University and Keith Pitcher at University of Nottingham. Please all come up. Oh, I have to do it, Peter. I have to do it. Got a camera. Arise, Sir Peter. And then, is that anyone else? We'll get these two. Oh, Peter, you better have your chocolate. Okay, we'll sort that out at the end. Great. Okay. A quick few thank yous. I want you to stand up if you were part of the steering group that fed into the structure of the conference. Anyone here who's in that group? Okay, keep standing. Stand up if you were contributing in any way to one of our workshops or seminars that have been running on, if you were a speaker or a supporter. And stand up if you were one of our speakers. And stand up if you are a member of the EAUC staff who have put together this. And give yourselves the biggest round of applause. Thank you. And if I've left anyone out, thank you. The conference theme was the learning legacy. I hope that you have taken much learning as a legacy away to put into practice with the inspirational words to feed our hearts and our souls and our minds, and the skills in our heads about how we can do our jobs better and support each other. Thank you to that. Actually, unbeknown to you, a legacy of this event is there's been loads of activity going on with many of the people who've come from Australia or America, etc. And actually, hot off the press is our final submission to Rio. That was sent at 4 o'clock yesterday, and we have launched something really quite astounding and exciting. This is a legacy of Scotland as well, with the international work that came out of UCCFS and the conference that they had in November, when the key partners of the Rio work got together. And now listen to this list. So our presence at Rio will be from the Association of Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education, USA and Canada, Australasian Campuses Towards Sustainability, EAUC, Copernicus Alliance, Fondaterra, which is a French university and college network, Global University Network for Innovation, GUNI, based in Spain, the Korean Association of Green Campus Initiative, the Promotion of Sustainability in Postgraduate Education and Research Network, that's ProsperNet, the China Green University Network, the United Nations Environment Programme, and they're bringing MESA, which is mainstreaming environment into African universities, the Global Responsibility Leadership Initiative, the Conference de Grand École in France, and the Conference des Présidents du Universitaire in France as well, invited governments who've said, yeah, we'll support this. Australia, the Netherlands, South Korea, China, and Japan. To be confirmed, France, Austria, and guess who? The UK. And also coming in, the NUS, and bringing in with them the European Student Union, the Latin American Continental Students Organization, and the Australian Youth Climate Coalition. And as of yesterday, we got endorsement from UNESCO. It's great. We're part of seizing this agenda and making it our own and having a voice, because the power and potential of education, well, what else comes anywhere close? So thank you for coming. Hope you've enjoyed it. Safe travels.